Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome to TED Circles hosted by NxtGen. This is Nidhi Singh, the moderator of this event on your screen. I'm currently leading the content and blog team at NxtGen. A very warm welcome to all the audience and guests present over here. I can see people, we've already joined with a lot of people, and we're going to have a very fruitful discussion and talk series. We're going to talk our hearts out. I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of the entire NxtGen team. I'm joining all the way from Janakpur, Nepal, and the weather here is quite sunny right now. It was too cold from the morning, and the sun's come up right now. I think it's flirting with me because it's going in the clouds and then it's coming outside. So it's pretty good right now. Tell us, where are you joining us from in the chat box? We'd like to know what our audience is doing right now as we're interacting with you all. Tell us the place you're hearing us from and the weather it's there. Is it rainy, or is it cloudy, or is it too cold? Or even better, you can just click whatever is in your hand. Maybe it's the time you're having your snacks or something. You can just send us what you're doing right now. You can click. All right, we have Nirajan Shrestha from Kathmandu. Cloudy weather here. Thank you Nirajan, for your responses. We're looking forward to other responses from the audience. And yes, also at the same time, let me tell you that you all are going to be a part of something so interactive and warm in the sense that we all are going to talk about things that really matter to us and also fun at the same time. Hi, Newton from Sarlahi, 70 kilometers from West Janakpur. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to TED Circles hosted by NxtGen. As we all are here to speak our minds and hearts in TED Circle, let us talk about what TED Circle really is. TED Circle is an open community of small groups that talk about big ideas online, hosted by volunteers. People share the takeaways online and consider each other's perspectives and create a global conversation. Under TED Circle, what happens is a theme is discussed every month all around the globe. Just think about it, all around the globe, all people talking about one theme and creating hello, Silas sir. Our sir has done already, and he's saying hello, Silas sir. He's from Newmaneswar. Oh, that was very sad to know that you are currently struggling with COVID. We hope you get well soon, sir. Yeah, so talking about TED Circles, the theme for this month, January 2022, is staying humble. So today, NxtGen has come up with this TED Circle. So let me put some light about what NxtGen really is. NxtGen is a non-profit organization. We are dedicated towards empowering a multitude of events and ideas, and mainly dedicated towards empowering personal and professional development of students and youths. So it's time I introduce the faces of the minds we're going to hear today. I guess you all are so excited. Tell us your reactions through the reactions in the reactions section. You can give us thumbs up, you can give us the excited emojis and all. So it's time I introduce you all to the faces of the minds we're going to hear today. Let me take this chance to introduce Mr. Binay Devkota sir, an entrepreneur, innovation consultant, startup mentor, equity investor, and co-founder at ClockB Business Innovations. Hello, sir. Would you like to say a hi?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Nidhi. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction.
Thank you, sir. How are you, sir? I hope you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's a cold weather in Kathmandu right now, but it's all right. We're getting used to it.
Sorry?
We're getting used to the cold weather now.
Yeah, of course. I think all over Nepal, it's the same. We're going to have warm conversations and definitely warm this ambience over here. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'll get back to you again. It's time we move on to the introduction of our next speaker. We have Mr. Sailesh Nepal, business head at Job Axel and corporate trainer at Tech Access and a business consultant. Hello, Sailesh. How are you?
Hello, Nidhi. All good. Hello,
All
Vinesha,
good.
and all of you. I'm really excited. Though I'm struggling with COVID. It's been like 3-4 days that I got COVID positive, but it's all about that. But I'm pretty fine, and I'm really excited.
We're also excited to have this year, and we wish you all the positivities and we wish you get well soon, sir.
So for me, being humble means being lovely to people, uh,
Right.
being positive around people, and helping them with their things. That's a simple definition.
Okay, so you mean humbleness is being kind, right? In
Yeah,
so
being kind and lovely.
thank you so much. That was nice. All right, so next on we'll have one more. We'll have one more, and let's see who's that going to be. That's going to be um, Ganga Paudel. Hi, Ganga.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How
Great.
about you?
I'm pretty good. All right, so what do you think humbleness means to you?
It's a positive attitude for me, for all the people around us.
Right. Okay, so that's being positive for you. That's so cool. I mean, that's so cool. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know about this. So, okay, we're getting responses in the chat section. Is someone's Aditya Shaha is saying being before hearing the humbleness was like a kindness residing inside us. In our hearts, Samriddhi Timalshina is saying being humble means to be a good listener to the people and to take their thoughts in consideration. Of course, being open to discussion is being humble, right? So thank you so much for your responses. So now I have talked about what humility means to me. Now you have talked about what humility means to you. So it's time we talk to our speakers about what staying humble means to you. If it's possible, maybe you can turn on your camera and even unmute yourself if there's no noise in the background. Okay, so my question to you, Binay Kota sir, is what does the phrase staying humble mean to you? Hello, sir.
Okay. Hello. Thank you, Nidhi. I think today is a very different session for me because I have spoken about business and investment in a lot of other sessions, but never have spoken about being humble in any of the sessions. And I think this is going to be a very productive learning for me as well. Um, when I was residing in the UK, there was a famous statement that revolved around nobody is greater or lesser than the other person. So if you love yourself and if you love other people around you, if you give them respect, I think this is a very important quality, so to say, every human being possess. They have in it themselves. I think this is a very lovely thing about human beings that they kind of appreciate themselves and they have the ability to appreciate others. So I think staying humble is something like that for me, and I think it is a very important quality, especially in any walks of life, be it in business, politics, uh, or even as a student. I think it is an important quality for you people as well. So I think it is a very important quality, something that is very innate, something that is very true to who we are as human beings. So yeah, looking forward to the entire discussions. But for me, staying humble is so important, uh, and it's like you said when you define the humbleness yourself, staying rooted. I think that's a very important aspect to it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's the feeling to be able to feel good about oneself and making others feel good about themselves, be it in your personal life, your work life, or your academics or professional life. Thank you, sir. So what do you think? Is it worth I mean, staying humble, the topic, is it worth such a big discussion? The entire world is talking about it. What do you think, sir? Why is it so important to be discussed?
I think it's very important topic for us to discuss because I don't know, due to the modern advancement, due to the complex thing that has evolved around human beings nowadays, we talk a lot about blockchain, we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about a lot of technical stuff, but we forget to talk about the basic fundamentals of life. And I think humility is one of it. uh,
Mhm.
when I was studying in my school days, I still remember there used to be a module called moral science,
Yeah.
uh, and it was very powerful. The stories that revolved around it was very very powerful. I think somewhere along the line, to be very practical, to be very technical, we lost many of the lessons in, somewhere. Somewhere we forgot these lessons, and I think it's very good to reflect and like relearn these crucial elements of life. I think it's a very important discussion.
Great. That was a great insight. Hello, Cyrus, sir. I hope you're doing good. I'm wanting to talk to you. What, according to you, makes it worth like talking, staying humble? What does it mean to you, and what does it make it worth talking about?
Yes, Nidhi, thank you. Personally, I'm very thankful because the today's topic is humbleness. Though I look scary, but the only personality that that I do have is, I think, humble and humbleness. Because being a salesperson, being an entrepreneur, and also I'm in human resource industry, humbleness quality is personally very important thing for me. And I think humble, as we call in Nepali, humble means namra, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, the sound itself, namra itself is very good. So humble means it's a, it's quality, it's art. I think it's art of an human being that leads you towards the success, and it's the only quality that's lead you towards the success. So humble means it's like being modest. It's not so proud. You are not arrogant, you're so humble. So the only I can see there are many students around here. So I'd like to say that the only road to be a millionaire or billionaire is being humble. So that's what humbleness is to me. And personally, if you need to, if you require to success in your life, you should really be humble. There's no shortcut. There's no worth being
Shoot.
arrogant. There's no worth being,
Right.
yeah.
All right. So
That's it.
you mean there's no substitute to being humble? You got to be humble if you want to, be good, do good, right? Um,
Of course.
yeah, thank you, sir. And okay, so there have been situations in life, Silas, sir, when someone is being mean to us for no reason at all. Like we've not done them anything, and they're being like they're demeaning us for no reason, and they're degrading to certain level where we don't want to go. We don't want to degrade to their level and answer them back. But the situation, we feel the need that we got to answer them back, but without degrading to their level, right? Like not being so rude, but we need to answer them back, we need to reply them. So how do you think you would reply without feeling bad about yourself to such people who demean us for no reason at all?
No, Gandhiji has always said that when somebody slaps you, you show them the next cheek. So that's the thing. It's simple. Because if somebody goes to that level that doesn't really digest you, then it's not that you should go to that level also. You just need to be humble. You just need to smile. You just need to show him or her the smiling face, and automatically humbleness goes to that face. That's simple.
Right. And do you think it is practical enough to have a smiling face when someone is being mean to us? I mean, that is some like
No, it's
automatically the raise comes within, and how do you cope with it?
yeah, it's no. There's a song also. If you have listened or not, it's hard to be humble when you are perfect in every way. Have you heard this song?
Not. All right. Wait.
This is a
Wait a minute.
really
I'd
nice
like to.
Indian
I'd like to
poem.
remind you of things. You said you look scary, but hey, no, you look pretty handsome, and that beard's looking so good on you. So yeah, continue with your answer.
Yeah, the people, everybody thinks that they are perfect in every way. So if you think like you are perfect in every way, it's really hard to become humble. So you need to know what's life, what you are doing, because that's always not how it goes on. So first of all, you need to understand yourself, you need to understand life, you need to be practical. It's really hard, but it's all about your experiences, it's all about your quality, it's all about your nature. That's it. Ultimately, after all, discipline is the thing that drives you towards the humbleness. So you always believe you need to be well disciplined, you need to be practical. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Coming back to you, Binay sir. I'd like to ask you, 20s, the age most of the audience is in right now. 20s is called an age about being yourself, about not limiting your potential, trying to explore new things, and these things. So, how do you think we can choose to be humble in this age without limiting ourselves?
I think that's a very interesting question because I think when you're in your 20s, you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of aspirations. You have a lot of things to do, and which is so right because I think that is the perfect age for exploration. That is the perfect age to understand life in very different dimensions, explore different aspects of life. Um, but that does not mean you can't stay humble. Of course, there are different spices of life. So what I'm trying to say right now is, see, you have anger, you have happiness, you have joy, you have lot of different kind of the elements that makes us human beings, right? So staying humble
Right.
is also one of such elements. So let's say it is one of the spices of your life. So it's not necessary to completely throw it away. It's just like we need to understand to a certain degree that sometimes the way I am feeling is important, of course, but the way the other person is feeling is also very, very important. But I don't think this comes very, like through learnings, or I don't think it comes through education. It comes more by experiencing people, experiencing different emotions, experiencing different situations. So I think 20s is a perfect age to experience that particular dimension of life. And it's not an absolute must. Even if you're arrogant, fine. Even if you're proud of who you are, fine. But just be open to knowledge, open to relearning, unlearning, and open to like accepting there may be certain changes in your life that would definitely allow. If you encountered two different experiences, I am pretty sure that people are humble in a very natural way. They are so innately humble. We are so good at like loving others. That's a very innate quality every human being has. So if you just stay open to that understanding and stay open to that learning, I think that is a perfect way to do it.
Mhm.
Regarding, like you said, 20s is a very, very good age to explore, and I think that is the best thing to do. And I've just like I've been talking to my sister. She's in her early 20s, so I was also asking her to, explore life, go out, meet people. I think that is a perfect way to understand human beings.
Mhm. So you mean in our 20s we got to explore new things, but what we also need to keep in mind that we don't have to be too concrete about our beliefs, and we need to be flexible to learn new things and to flexible towards the other people's beliefs and their convictions and their uh, thought processes, right, sir?
Yes, to a degree, yes, because I don't think you need to be 100% coded in your life. This is the structure of life, and this is the way I live. Be open to changes, be open to, adaptations, and I
Mhm.
think it would naturally occur.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our inside devil, one of the inside devils we all have, and that is ego. Right. So I'd like to see a small incident that happened to me recently. I was at my college, which is in Pokhara, WRC. So I was in my college and I was hosting a program which was almost 3 hours long. And I was standing there for 3 hours. I was speaking for 3 hours, and there was a guy who was having a speech for 3 minutes. I called him over. He spoke very well, and all the people were all of a sudden, congratulating him about his speech. Oh my god, you spoke so well. Oh my god, you did so well. And no one even noticed that I was standing there for like 3 hours and speaking, right? And I was feeling so bad that everyone's congratulating him and no one's even talking about what I did. Like, I did a pretty good job, I felt like. But no, there was sort of a feeling of jealousy, and I knew that my ego is kicking in, and this is stopping me from going to him and saying that, okay, you did a good job, because that's my friend, of course. But there was not allowing me to do so. But okay, I managed. I didn't want to go and talk to him, but okay, it's okay, I said. And then I went to him and I said that you did good. So has it ever happened to you all that you realize that your ego is kicking in, and what do you do to overcome it then and there? Silas, sir, would you like to answer this question?
Sure, thank you. Uh, okay, just a scene. Starting my video. I think I got problem. Okay,
Okay, sir.
uh, is it okay that I turn off? Okay, okay, I'm there. I'm there. uh, you know, the ego. It's a very dangerous thing. When you remove your ego and when you accept your humbleness, it can help you develop fully and enjoy richer relationship, and create opportunities, and that also I think earns you respect also. So ego can be very dangerous most of the time. uh, uh, Talking about humbleness, it can still be pretty hard to be humble, especially if you live in a society that encourages you towards the competition and individuality. So uh, I don't know, I cannot relate right now if there are any examples or like that, but that's it. You just need to accept your limitations. You just need to kick out your ego. You just need to recognize your own faults. You just need to, I think, be grateful for what you have. You never be afraid to make some mistakes. You really need to accept your mistakes out of your ego.
Mhm.
And I think never take all the credits. And that's the perfect example of humbleness, I guess. Sometimes I think most of you are IT graduates, right? I mean IT students, right?
Yeah, engineering students, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, engineering. Sometime, in last semester or seventh semester, you need to do combined projects, I guess. And most of the time, होइन यो त मै गरे हो, यो त मैले गरे हो भन्ने हुन्छ होइन. So don't take all the credits. And always believe that humbleness always retain relationship. When you listen, when you put others words first. So that's the perfect example of not being egoistic and being humbleness. You always need to accept feedback, I guess. So
Mhm.
just you just need to kick out your ego, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Binay, sir, I'd like to ask you, as sir just said, that we need to kick out our ego whenever it's when we feel like it's kicking in. So maybe sometimes, but there are chance probably when, because we allowed things to come up to our ego, we were able to do certain great things which we would
Mhm.
never be able to do if we would not, we would not take it on our ego. Like sometimes, even to show others or something, we tend to do some really good things. So
Mhm.
can do you think, is ego sometimes good, or is it always a bad thing?
I think, like you said, ego at times can be a very good fueling factor. Obviously, it may not be a very lasting fueling factor. It may be a very short-term fueling factor, but definitely ego plays a very good role when it is fueling you from the inside to do something, do even some crazy stuff. I believe I'm a very normal human being. I have ego inside of me. I have anger inside of me. I have the humility inside of me. I have goodness inside of me. I have bad, like some sort of the greed inside of me. So I'm a very normal human being. So what I have understood at this stage of my life is it's important for us to, like really manage things, not absolutely throw it away, because you cannot. No matter how hard you try, you cannot. If you do not accept yourself the way you are, if you do not accept that you have anger inside of you, if you do not accept that you have ego inside of you, when the ego really kicks in, or when you are very angry and do certain things that you regret afterwards, then it is going to be very difficult for you to digest. It's going to pinch you inside. So I think first thing that me as a person, what I do is I accept it that I have done things in my ego. I have been angry. Uh, I could not collaborate with a lot of my, like colleagues. I could not collaborate with similar counterparts within my industry because of that ego factor. I did not want to compliment them for what they have done. But now I understand for the greater good, for sometimes there are larger things that you would need to achieve, and for that you would need to do it together. So we have collaborated with such counterparts. So I think this is more about accepting as you go, learning as you go, and evolving as a person as you go. Uh, your question, ego can help you at times, may not help you forever, but I don't think you can get rid of it. It's just
Right.
a part of you and stays inside of you.
It's always going to be
That is
there.
something I have accepted.
Yes, true, very true. I think it's always going to be there, no matter how much hard we try to eliminate it, because it's human to be egoistic, I guess. And the ultimate goal should be to minimize the degree, I guess, and frequency.
Exactly, exactly. Control it, use it to your
Right.
advantage, and don't use it to, like hurt someone else. If you use it to your advantage without hurting anyone else, I don't think there is any harm to it.
Mhm. Okay, so Silas sir, I was thinking about this, that when other people know about what things trigger us, when other people know that this is our weak point, or if they say us this thing, we're definitely going to respond, or we're definitely going to react, and then what happens is they sort of manipulate us to trigger us in a weak point so that we do things that benefits them and not us. So what is happening here is we are working against ourselves according to someone else's will, because of the disability of composing ourselves and things like that. So what do you think, is that ultimate slavery of our own ego? Are we working for someone else without even knowing that we're working for someone else? What do you think about this?
Oh yes, actually, Binay sir has highlighted a very good point that you can never get rid out of your ego. Actually, ego is our shadow. When
Mhm.
you walk in the sun and you see your own shadow, you like follow your shadow for sometimes, you can definitely see your ego over there. It's that simple. And talking about weakness, most of the people, what they'll try to do is they always try to hide their weakness. I think that's not the proper point. No, if you try to hide your weakness, you can never succeed in your own life, in your profession, in your professionalism and everything. So sorry, I what was your final point?
My point was जस्तो कोही मान्छेलाई थाहा छ नि त हामीलाई यो भन्यो भने चाहिँ हामीलाई ढुक्क रिस उठ्छ भनेर अनि यिनीहरूले यो भन्यो भने चाहिँ हामीले यस्तो गर्छ यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ उनीहरूकै फाइदा भएर हुन्छ अर लेट्स से हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रै अगेन्स्टमा चाहिँ काम गरेर हुन्छन् कि यसो हुँदाखेरि कस्तो हुने भयो भन्दा उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ हाम्रो विक पोइन्ट थाहा छ देन दे युज हाम्रै विक पोइन्ट अगेन्स्ट ourselves के against us only so त्यसरी चाहिँ हामी उनीहरूकै slave because of our ego जस्तो भयो नि त so how much do you agree with this thing भनेर
नो या एक्चुअली राइट। त्यो कस्तो बेलामा हुन्छ नि, जब हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रो विक पोइन्टलाई चाहिँ ढाकछोप गर्ने प्रयास गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ होइन। जब विक पोइन्टलाई हामीले एकदमै केलाएर त्यसलाई विक पोइन्ट हो नै भनेर अलिकति आफूलाई ह्युमिलेसन फिल गरेर जब हामी लुकाउँदैनौँ, तब अदर्स वन्ट गेट अपर्च्युनिटी टु ट्रिगर यु, टु पोइन्ट यु। सो विक पोइन्टलाई चाहिँ ढाक्ने होइन कि त्यहाँबाट एकदमै प्रिटी, यु क्यान बी प्रिटी ओपन, यु क्यान लर्न। त्यस्तो त्यो खालको पर्सनालिटी छ भने चाहिँ कसैले पनि कसैलाई ह्युमिलेट फिल गर्दैन होइन। जब कसैलाई ट्रिगर हुन्छ कि उसको कमजोरी यो छ र त्यही कमजोरीलाई चाहिँ भनौँ न उसले चाहिँ सधैँ आत्मसात गरेर लगिरहेछ भन्ने फिल भयो भने चाहिँ अरूले ह्युमिलेट गर्ने हो। सो आफ्नो कमजोरीलाई कमजोरी होइन कि त्यसलाई चाहिँ स्ट्रङ पोइन्ट बनाउन चाहिँ जहिले पनि हामीले हाम्रो कमजोरीलाई चाहिँ बाहिर ल्याउन जरुरी छ। सो त्यस्तो भयो भने वी क्यान अलवेज लर्न समथिङ, यु क्यान अलवेज, अरूले पनि तपाईँलाई चाहिँ भनौँ न त्यस्तो केही पिन पोइन्ट गर्दैन। त्यही नै हो।
Thank you, sir. Binay sir, my question to you is, why do you have to be humble? Like, why is it necessary for us to be humble? If our things are going on, even if we are arrogant, even if we are aggressive, or why do you think we should be humble? And if you are one, if you are a very humble person, very kind, loving, lovable person, should you expect other people to be the same to you?
I think for the first part of your question, why do you need to be humble? I think it is not a quality that you have to showcase. It's not a quality that you have to display to others that I am humble. It's more for yourself. Do you get a sound sleep? If you hurt someone, do you get a sound sleep? Can you sleep well? If you cannot, then I think that's pretty much your answer. For the second part of your question, is it absolutely necessary for other people to stay humble to you, even if you're humble to them? I don't think so. It's not about expecting the other person to act in a certain way, because it's not possible. Trust me, it's not possible. Even in an organization, it's not possible. So people are very different. They have their own way of doing things. They have a different set of personality. So I think it is absolutely impossible to expect. But do I wish? Yes, obviously, I wish the other person would stay humble to me.
And you can't expect a lion to not eat you because you don't eat a lion, right? So very true. We can't expect people to be humble to us just because we're nice to them. Right. So Sailesh sir, I'd like to come to you. How much do you think is, or how important do you think is humility for leadership? And leadership, I mean, like the professional lives we're going to pursue, or even if in our relationships, how important do you think humility is for leadership, for being a leader?
Okay. I had just googled yesterday evening, and talking about leadership, what I found was do you guys know Sushil Koirala?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah, he was the former prime minister, and he
Right.
passed away. According to, I guess, India Times or Forbes, he was the third most humbled leaders in the world.
Mm-hmm.
है अब नेपालको जस्तो केसमा नेपालको भनौँ न अझै यो पोलिटिसियन्सहरू they always get they are always criticized, they always get negative feedback, and due to their leadership pattern, or due to their like some kind of autocratism, they
Mm-hmm.
never get respect from the people, right? So सुशील कोइराला चाहिँ एउटा त्यस्तो नेता हुनुहुन्थ्यो जो चाहिँ एउटा वर्ल्डमै चाहिँ हम्बलनेसमा चाहिँ एउटा इक्जाम्पल हुँदो रहेछ. एन्ड द अदर गुड हम्बल लिडर्स आर बाराक ओबामा, मोदी, उहाँहरू why these guys are so always loved by the citizens, and always being respected, is because of their humbleness. And no doubt, जहाँ तपाईँलाई अगाडि बढ्नु छ, if you need respect, if you need loved by the others, you have no other choices, you just need to be humble. And again, I already also previously mentioned that there's no there's no के अरे त्यो मैले
Substitute,
के
you mean?
भनेको थिएँ अगाडि, नो आई मिन द मिलिनियर बिलिनियरको कुरा गरेको थिएँ नि.
Oh, yeah.
त्यो पनि इफ यु पोजेस द क्वालिटी अफ हम्बलनेस, त्यहाँ चाहिँ तपाईँ भनौँ न एउटा वारेन बफेट भन्ने सिइओ सुनेको छ
हजुर.
है. So when you search the meaning of humble in Google, वारेन बफेटको नाम पनि एकदमै अगाडि आउँदो रहेछ कि. मैले यो एक्जाम्पल्सहरू किन दिइरहेको छु भने देयर लट्स अफ मिलिनियर्स एन्ड बिलिनियर्स. So why people put the examples of the personality like Warren Buffett? Because he's so down to earth, being a billionaire also, he's so down to earth. So I think uh, the people who are humble, they always retain relationship, they always make the difficult decision also with very ease, they always try to put others first. They any humble people, they never say me, I. They always start the sentence with you, right?
Put the other
So
people forward,
exactly,
prioritizing.
exactly. So
Okay.
that's it.
Thank you, sir.
It's very important. It's very important for leaders and for all the peoples. It's very important.
Right, right. Binay sir, what do you think about humility is nowadays considered a strength that every person should have. So it is such a delicate, soft, kind thing, but it is a strength that every person should have. And nowadays, when everyone has a certain belief and convictions which may contradict with someone else's belief and convictions, how do you think like if we can be humble about the contradictions between my belief and your belief, or between the disagreements between the beliefs of two people? How can we choose to become humble there?
I think the first quality, it's a very, very difficult question because I think it's obviously when you're in an argument, when you are in an intense dialogue, there's certain sets of belief that is very different to each other, right? So we naturally get into that state where we kind of end up disagreeing with each other, and I think maintaining that humility at that particular uh, stage is very, very difficult. But uh, being humble is that something that you decide for yourself. You did not decide it for others. You did not decide it as a showcasing factor, like I said in like in the earlier question, right? So I
Right.
think that is one part. Second is uh, when you are in a disagreement. Let's say when you are in a disagreement, let's let's first trace back a little and let's just try to think why the person is putting his or her opinion very different to what I believe, right? So if you can, take a 10-second pause or 20-second pause and just ask few questions to yourself, reflect in the middle of the discussion, maybe that would help one. And maybe another part is, uh, I don't know, it is so difficult for everybody to accept and understand that the other person sitting next to you is very difficult than who you are. And it is such a hard thing to accept. I don't know why it took me so long. Now I understand. Everybody has a different. There is no 100% absolute answer to every question that you ask, right? So
Right.
you may have a very different understanding of being a good person, and I may have a very different understanding of being a good person. So if we engage in an argument, who is a good person, right? There definitely be statements where you would not agree to my statements, or I would not agree to your opinions. So I think first, when we are entering the dialogue or when we are in a discussion, let's first accept the other person has a very different way of understanding things, maybe similar to mine, but it may be very contradictory and it may be very different to mine. So if we start the conversation that way, maybe it might help to stay humble during the heated argument.
So you
It is
mean we should
just
find
my
some
view.
middle ground for conversation? Like I come this way, you come this way, and let's talk here, right? Because if two people are very concrete about their own beliefs and do not want to accept that there can be different beliefs and there can be no conversation without arguments, or maybe we should pre-decide that whatever happens, I will not cross this borderline. I'll not be this, and I'll always stick to this middle ground where the other person can speak and I can speak as well.
Exactly. It's not absolutely necessary that you come to a one conclusion. It's not necessary. You might conclude in two different ways. If you have 10 people discussing over a certain, let's say, idea, maybe there may be five different conclusions to the idea. It's not
Right.
absolutely necessary that you all agree to one particular point of view. I don't think that is absolutely necessary. It's always when we're trying to enforce our ideas and enforce our beliefs upon the other person who are discussing with. I think that is when your ego gets hurt. When that is when you cannot stay humble. That is when you start, like getting fiery, getting angry. So I think that is the point where you if you start the discussion by saying we can have different conclusion, but let's discuss because maybe we all will end up learning at least something. If that is the mentality, then I think we can stay humble.
Thank you, sir. So, Alyssa, what do you think? कहिलेकाहीँ यस्तो हुन्छ लाइक त्यस्तो कोही मान्छे छ होइन there are two people we're talking to. One is pretty, like serious, dominating, arrogant, aggressive, and the other one is cool, nice, being nice to us, talking very nicely to us, being friendly and kind, and there is a mass both of them are addressing to. So what happens sometimes जो अग्रेसिभ छ एरोगेन्ट छ उसको मान्छेलाई उसको कुरालाई चाहिँ मान्छेले सिरियसली लिन्छन् होइन अनि समटाइम्स चाहिँ वाट ह्यापन जो चाहिँ अलि नम्र भएर बोल्यो भने यो त हावा रहेछ भनेर लाइटली समटाइम्स दे आर टेकन लाइटली एन्ड समटाइम्स दे टेकन फर ग्रान्टेड. And sometimes people who are aggressive and arrogant are taken like a firm or a determined, like arrogance is taken as a firm trait and humility is taken for granted. So have you ever had this, faced this, or what do you think about it?
Yes, actually, this is very interesting. Being a recruiter, I day to day I deal with different clients. हाम्रो कस्तो हुन्छ भने क्लाइन्ट्सहरूको चाहिँ रिक्वायरमेन्ट्सहरू हुन्छ कि so especially the Marwari clients and the foreign clients, they are so aggressive होइन अनि they are so into negotiations के सो त्यो तिमीले भनेको कुरा एकदमै हो कोही कोही एकदमै सोझो छ लाइक हम्बल छ डिसेन्ट छ भने डेफिनेटली अनि if somebody is very not humbled if somebody is very, aggressive, we don't take them lightly. Yeah, actually these are the nature of the opponents also. Like, you need to understand the background of the people and everything, you need to study in detail. तर definitely that's it. So त्यही अलिकति कसरी डिल गर्ने भन्ने कुराहरू पनि हो हुन चाहिँ है। अब
Okay.
हम्बल कोही बिस्तारै बोल्छ भने, जस्तै आई पुट आउट एन एक्जाम्पल, when we go to kapda pasal, or when we, few 3-4 months back, I need to purchase a pant, jeans pant, अनि I went to 2 shops. एउटा पसलको मान्छेले मलाई मजाले प्यान्ट्सहरू देखाउनु भयो, लाइक यो छ सर, यो छ सर भनेर, हेर्नुहोस् न हेर्नुहोस् भनेर 8-10 वटा प्यान्ट्सहरू देखाउनु भयो होइन। अनि एउटाले चाहिँ 2टा प्यान्ट देखाउनु भयो, अनि त्यसपछि आई मैले फेस अलिकति बिगारेँ, अनि नकिन्ने भए जानुहोस् न त भन्यो होइन। सो स्पेसली अझै वेन यु इफ आई डोन्ट नो कोही खासामा गएको छ कि छैन, खासामा जाँदा कस्तो हुन्छ भने दे आर लट्स अफ चाइनिज, अनि दे स्पिक नेपाली अल्सो। अनि त्यहाँ चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने हामीले कुनै सामान छोएपछि चाहिँ उनीहरूको माइन्डसेट कस्तो हुन्छ भने किन्नै पर्छ क्या। दे आर सो नट हम्बल्ड होइन, दे आर सो लाइक रुड के। म 4-5 इयर्स ब्याक खासामा गएको थिएँ, अनि त्यहाँ एउटा आई थिङ्क ब्ल्याङ्केट मैले छोएको मात्र थिएँ, अनि किन्ने भए मात्रै छुनुहोस्, नत्र नछुनुहोस् भन्यो। हामीले त्यही अनुसारको डिल गऱ्यौँ त्यो मान्छेलाई है। अनि मैले अघि इक्जाम्पल दिए जस्तो आई फाइनली borrowed the pant from the shop who exposed me like numbers of pant, अनि जसले चाहिँ मलाई 2टा प्यान्ट देखाउँदैमा ऊ अलिकति इरिटेसन जस्तो भएको थियो, मैले त्यहाँ चाहिँ पर्चेस गरिनँ है। सो जस्तै हामी बाटोमा जाँदा पनि कुनै कुकुरले अलिकति पुच्छर हलाउँदै आउँछ भने हामी चै 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 भन्दै जान्छौँ होइन, कुनै यहाँ गर्छ हामी ढुङ्गा लिएर हान्न जान्छौँ होइन। द्याट्स द माइन्डसेट डेफिनेटली। किनभने तपाईँ जस्तो हुनुहुन्छ तपाईँले पनि त्यस्तै एक्सपेक्ट गरिराख्नुहुन्छ समटाइम्स, अनि टिट फर ट्याट जस्तो भइरहेकै हुन्छ डेफिनेटली। यस।
Okay, thank you, sir. Binay sir, what do you think? Just a day-to-day life ma, general practice ma, to practice humility or to practice staying grounded, irrespective of whatever heights we achieve in life, what things do you do, or what do you think should be done in our day-to-day practice which keeps us grounded?
Okay, I don't practice being humble. I think it's not something, like I said, it's a very innate thing. It's not, obviously you can be more cautious about it, right? So you can be more cautious about not to speak foul language or not to be rude to people. You can be more cautious about it, but this is not something that I had practiced. I think this is something, I don't know, somewhere along the way as I was growing up, maybe due to a lot of experiences, I ended up like this. Maybe good for some people, bad for someone else. But when you are achieving something, right? So in 2016, I was traveling to Hong Kong. So I went to an Apple store to buy MacBook, and I had a friend with me, and the friend asked with the Apple sales guy, could you offer some discount, please? And the guy looked top to bottom to my friend, and he was just saying, dude, this is Apple. You're looking for discount, right? So the sales guy had a lot of pride working in Apple, right? So Apple today is one of the most successful company in the world, right? So the experience that I had then was like these people who were working in Apple really, really, understand the company, and they are very proud of who they are and where they are. So I don't think being proud is always that bad. When you're successful to a degree, to a notion, you always have that pride factor with you. But during your struggling days, during your initial days, right, this is the time when you build your personality. When you guys are now students, this is the time when you build your personality. this is the time when you start loving people, you accepting differences, accepting a lot of changes to yourself and to people around you. And I think when you're successful, these are the things that will reflect then. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's not something that you practice when you're successful. You learn it during your initial days. You learn it when you are going through the rough phases. यो कुरुक्षेत्रमा सिक्ने कुरा हो के गएर के यो शिक्षा गर्ने ठाउँमा पढाइ स्कुलमा सिक्ने कुरा हो कुरुक्षेत्रमा गएर सिक्ने कुरा हैन के when you're in the battlefield you just fight हैन when you are learning today I think this is when where you develop a true character and a character that you are proud of. Like I said, do you have a sound sleep or not? I think that is a very important question. If you can say I can sleep well, then I think you are a pretty good character, and that would reflect when you're successful.
We have a question from
Oh,
audience.
yes. Sorry. I interrupted. To continue on this, I want to add one more thing.
Yes,
यो
sir.
कस्तो हुँदो
Please.
रहेछ भने हम्बलनेस र सक्सेस कन्फिडेन्स र हम्बलनेस भने चाहिँ इन्भर्सली प्रोपोर्सनेट हुँदो रहेछ कि मान्छेको लाइफमा when you reach to one position, when you are when you succeed in one thing, when you get a full confidence, then अलिकति चाहिँ हम्बलनेस भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ डेफिनेटली हराउँदो रहेछ. If you people have been working or you guys have been working, right? So कस्तो हुन्छ नि हामीले अफिसको सिइओहरुसँग अलिकति म्यानेजर्सहरुसँग कुरा गर्दाखेरि अलिकति हम्बलनेस छैन कि जस्तो फिल आउँछ नि त हामीलाई. बिकज त्यो हम्बलनेस कस्तो किन हराउँछ भने त्यो पोजिसनमा पुग्दा एउटा दुःख गरेको हुन्छ, एउटा लामो एक्सपिरियन्स लिएको हुन्छ, अनि एउटा पोजिसनमा पुगेको हुन्छ नि त हैन. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ जहिले पनि मान्छे एउटा सक्सेस, एउटा पोजिसन, एउटा कन्फिडेन्स लेभलमा पुगेपछि हम्बलनेस बिस्तारै डिग्रेड हुँदै जाँदो रहेछ. तर वाट मैले अहिले ठ्याक्कै इन्टरप्ट किन गरेँ भने सक्सेस चाहिँ त्यहाँ छ जब मान्छे एउटा म्याक्सिमम कन्फिडेन्ट लेभल र म्याक्सिमम सक्सेसमा पनि उसले हम्बलनेसलाई चाहिँ राख्न सक्यो भने चाहिँ लाइफ एकदमै इजी हुन्छ, उसको फलोवर्सहरू पनि धेरै हुन्छ हैन. अनि देयर द रोड टु सक्सेस. सो हराउँदै जान्छ डेफिनेटली, धेरै स्ट्रगल, धेरै कुराहरूले चाहिँ इम्प्याक्ट पार्छ हैन. तर सक्सेस र हम्बलनेसलाई सँगसँगै चाहिँ जसले डोराएर लिएर जान सक्छ, त्यहाँ चाहिँ भनौँ न मान्छेको रियल सक्सेस चाहिँ त्यहाँ हुन्छ.
My next question was around this only, sir. जस्तो हामी एउटा हाइटमा पुगिसकेपछि अर्कै समथिङ कुरा हामीले धेरै दिनदेखि चाहेको कुरा चाहिँ अचिभ गरेपछि हामी एकदम ओभरवेल्म हुन्छौँ नि त्यो त्यस्तो टाइममा हैन, ओभरवेल्म विथ आवर अचिभमेन्ट्स. अनि एट द्याट टाइम इट इज डिफिकल्ट टु कम्पोज आवरसेल्फ. समटाइम्स लाइक अरूलाई त म मान्छे गर्दिनँ, आई हेभ डन अल दिस लाइक आई एम सुपिरियर, or we feel like great of ourselves. At those times it is important to compose ourselves and like stay humble, but it is difficult. It is important, we know it is important, but it is difficult to compose ourselves at those times when we have been successful or we have achieved certain things. And so it has definitely happened to you guys, I think, because you are pretty successful in what you're doing right now. And so how did you manage to like compose yourself and tell yourself that there's still a long way to go and I need to stay grounded, I need to stay close to my roots?
Okay, first of all, this is the first time I would like to disagree with you, because I don't think the idea of success is being better than the other person. It's not absolutely necessary that you would need to compete and beat certain individuals to be successful. I don't think that is absolutely necessary. To fulfill your truest potential in certain sports or certain competitive industries, so to say, I think that is a mandate that people have put, but I don't think that is necessary there as well. The idea of success is more about reflecting the best version of you to the outside world. I know this is a very cliche thing that most of the spiritual gurus that they speak about, but I think that is possible if you build your character in that way. One. Second, obviously, when I achieve something, right? When I achieve something that is very valued to me, I would definitely would like to congratulate myself. I would like to feel good about myself because I have put in my blood, sweat, and tears trying to achieve that particular thing. But that particular thing I did not try to achieve because I want to be better than the other person. That is for certain aspiration of mine. Maybe I have a different goal. So if your goal is to beat the other person and be successful, definitely there will come a time when you will not stay humble. I'm 100% sure about that. Because your idea of success then is to be superior to other human beings. And like I said, when I started this entire conversation today, in Europe, where I was studying in UK, there was a very famous saying: if you trust yourself in a way that you believe that you are no superior and you are no lesser than the other person, no matter who the other person is, you are not bigger than him, you're not lesser than him. So you are just you, and the other person is just him or her, right? If we take that idea of living, and if we take that idea of understanding and knowing people, I think then your success is something that you can definitely be proud of. Definitely, you can celebrate. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now here we're having the last question from my side. I mean, this is in the chat box from the audience. Anyone of you, if you like to answer, or both of you, the question goes like this: as it is our human nature to expect things from other people, but as expectations lead us to darker paths and it eventually makes us sad. How can we overcome this and what could be done to avoid expecting from people? Irada Rokaha is asking this question from the audience. Would like to answer or would like to go first from both of you?
Let's share Silas Steve's version first.
Okay, Silas sir. What do you think can be
Ijada,
done
right?
to avoid expectations from people?
Uh, okay, it's a vague, it's a vague question actually. Uh, no, the question. No, why do you need to avoid expectation from people? I think you don't need to avoid expectation. You just need to do your own work. You just need to follow your own path. Uh, leads us to a dark makes it sad. How can we overcome this? You know, um, first thing is don't always try to avoid expectation because expectation तपाईँले कसै एक्सपेक्टेसनले गर्दा नै तपाईँ अगाडि बढ्नुहुन्छ जहिले पनि होइन केही कुराको भनौँ न तपाईँ अगाडि किन गर्नु जस्तै यु आर वर्किङ बिकज your family has some expectations you are learning you are reading because your family your friends have some expectations so don't just always avoid expecting त्यो सँगसँगै नै जानुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई होइन ओके
विनय सर हजुरलाई के भन्नुहुन्छ यसको बारेमा?
I think let me break it down into two different aspects. If we are talking about work expectation, I don't think we need to expect anything from anyone at work. We can make it very practical. It can be like a systematic structure where people have a certain roles and responsibilities that they need to fulfill, not expectations that they would fulfill, but a role and responsibility, a duty that they will fulfill. If we put that in work front, but in personal life, in relationship, and like in family front, I think expectation is something that is very, very natural. I don't think we can avoid it, but sometimes we can console or maybe try to accept ourselves that every expectations of ours is not going to like fruit into reality. It's not going to happen. So maybe that is again a lot of the questions that we are asking here today is more about acceptance that it might or might not convert the way you want it truly to be. But for this statement that Irada is asking, uh, it's Irada or Irada, I'm not sure. But again, the question that she's asking is it's not absolutely necessary that every expectation of ours leads us to a darker path. It's not necessary. We can just, if it is leading us to a path which we are not comfortable with, we can just stop it right then and there. We need to, have more control in these areas. It's very, very difficult, but I think through, going through experiences that pushes us to limit, which gives us pain, I think that is going to be a very good teacher. And it's not absolutely necessary that we need to go into a dark road. But the word that she's using here is very heavy, so I was just trying to clarify that.
I guess we got your answer, and you can give us your reactions to the reactions buttons if you like the answer our guest replied with. Okay, one more question, and this is going to be last from my side. And there is a question from Puskar Jha in the chat box, and he asks, "How do I not allow my pride and vulnerabilities to creep in while maintaining humility during a conversation?" So, would you like to go first? How do I not allow my pride and vulnerabilities to creep in while maintaining humility during a conversation? Like, how to keep my pride aside while having a conversation with someone?
Okay. Let me try to answer this. I think again, your vulnerabilities, whatever you have, whatever your weaknesses are, whatever you're not good at, if you have realized it, if you have accepted your vulnerabilities, you understand where you're not very good at. Maybe this is something that you would not need to express to everyone, but to in the close circle, maybe in the areas of trust or people you can trust, maybe you can communicate it well, because once you start communicating, once you start realizing your vulnerabilities, then you start working on it to not feel bad when somebody pokes at that particular point. Number one. Second is uh, again, this is a very thin line that I don't know when pride becomes bad, so to say. Uh, Obviously, when you're trying to demean someone, when you're trying to showcase that you're a superior person than the other person, then I think that is wrong. But if you are proud, if you are proud of yourself, then I think that's a very good thing. And if your intent is not to harm the other person, if your intent is not to hurt the other person emotionally or even mentally, I don't think you're doing it wrong, man. I think the conversation can build very naturally. Say, I am very proud of myself, and I am not trying to demean anyone. I do not try to demean anyone when I'm in conversation, but I truly am proud of myself and I love myself.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, Elise, sir, your insights on this, if you have some.
Okay, I think pride really makes you weak sometimes, and vulnerability sometimes make you strong. So if you don't want to show this kind of thing in your conversation, as like Binay sir mentioned, अलिकति सेपरेटली बसेर त्यो बारेमा कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ होइन। तर कुनै राम्रो कुनै राम्रो कुरा छ प्राइड भन्दा पनि अझै प्राउडको कुरा छ भने त त्यो देखाउँदा नै ठिक हुन्छ। किनभने कति कुराहरू आफू दुःख गरेर आएर एउटा ठाउँमा एउटा पोजिसनमा पुगेको हुन्छ। यु रियली डोन्ट निड टु अलिकति हाइड नै गर्नुपर्छ, कन्फिडेन्स नै राख्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा पनि हुँदैन। इट्स अलवेज होइन। त्यही नै हो।
Yes, thank you, sir. Vulnerability is the strength, as both of you said. It's not always the weakness. It's not always your weak point. I guess Pushkar got his answer. So we've had all our questions answered from our speakers. That was my time, beautiful people. It's time I bid a goodbye and pass this on to our co-host Nia Manandar. Over to you, Nia. Thank you.
Thank you, Nidhi. Wow, that was definitely a very insightful conversation. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying the show. Firstly, let me introduce myself. I'm Nia Manandar, currently a student at Sankardev campus pursuing BBA Finance. Right now, I'm working as a finance associate at NxtGen, and I will be a moderator for the rest of the show. As Nidhi already explained, in this part, the circle conversation will take place where the audience will be discussing the theme along with the speakers. I'd like to request everyone in the audience to turn their video on to make this conversation more interactive. So, audience, how are you feeling? Are you enjoying the show so far? Are you excited to interact with the guests? You can express through your hands in the video, or you can also use reactions in the Zoom. Before beginning, I'd like to ask the audience if you have any queries or anything you want to share about the conversation Nidhi and Abini and Soilis sir had before. You can unmute yourself and share your opinions, or you can also write in the chat box.
I personally would like to hear your contradicting opinions if you have any, because for me and I think for Silastia as well, this will be a very good opportunity to understand your side of the story.
सबैजना धेरै हम्बल भएर बसिरहेको हो कि क्या हो?
सबैजना नलजाइकन आफ्नो माइक अनम्युट गरेर जे सोध्न मन लाग्छ सोध्दा हुन्छ. So moving on, Namaste Vinay sir, what about you? Are you looking forward to the TED Circle conversation?
Yes, obviously. It has been a very learning experience so far. So I hope for the next hour or so, this is very similar to what we had with Navy.
Okay, so Soilis sir, what about you? How are you feeling? Are you excited?
यस डेफिनेटली, किनभने मैले अघि पनि भनेको थिएँ हैन, मसँग एउटा मात्रै क्वालिटी छ, त्यो हो हम्बलनेस. सो दिस टपिक हेज प्रिटी एट्र्याक्टेड मी एन्ड पार्टिसिपेन्ट्सहरू चाहिँ अलिकति एक्टिभ नभइरहेको हो कि भन्ने फिल भइरहेछ. प्लिज गाइज रेज सम क्वेसन्स, अनि अलिकति क्रिटिसाइज, अलिकति कन्ट्राडिक्टरी कुराहरू पनि आउनु पर्यो हैन. आइम रियली इन्जोइङ. I think Nia got disconnected or something.
Hello,
Are you
everyone.
there, Nia?
Still speaking. I'm sorry, Celeste. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so namaskar, Binay sir, Sailesh sir, and everyone that we are here. And my question to Binay sir is there any danger being too humble? Sometimes what happens is like we are being too humble and it feels like we're being servant to others. So like, what is the limitation of being humble, if there is any?
Okay, I think this is a very interesting question for me to reflect as well, because I don't think there is a limitation as such. I don't particularly know for myself, but to a degree, I feel comfortable in conversation where I don't feel being demeaned. I would love to stay in that conversation. Obviously, like you said, a lot of times when sometimes people take their humility for granted, and sometimes that leads people to take you for granted, right? So I think that is a thing that I have experienced myself, but that does not stop me from being who I am. So this is naturally who I am, the way I am. So even if someone tries to, underestimate me, or if someone tries to, demean me, if someone tries to demean me, I would not accept it. I would try to clarify my point if it is necessary be. If not, then that's all right, because the other person is a very different person, like I said, and he or she reacts according to the knowledge he or she has. So yeah, I think yes, like you said, sometimes there is a danger of people not people demeaning you or people not um, appreciating you enough when you're too humble. But that too, I don't understand the limitation. I don't exactly have the right answer for you initially, but that is a very powerful question.
Thank you for your answer, sir. Shailesh, sir, can you please share your opinion?
Okay, Deepak, right? Deepakले सोध्नु भयो यो क्वेसन.
Nishchal, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. त्यही एकदमै it's a vague question actually, होइन? Is it okay that I continue in Nepali?
Yes, if you feel comfortable, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. पहिला त दुईटा पार्टी को हो भन्ने कुरा बुझ्न एकदमै जरुरी छ, होइन? जस्तै म को हो र हामी कोसँग कन्भर्सेसन गरिरहेछौँ अथवा डिल गरिरहेको छौँ भनेर बुझ्न जरुरी छ. अनि वाट इज योर प्रोफेसन, किनभने हम्बलनेस भन्ने कुरा सबै ठाउँमा कहिलेकाहीँ राइट नहुन पनि सक्छ है. जस्तै भनौँ न, जस्तै हाम्रो यो खाडी मुलुकतिर लेबरहरू धेरै गइरहेको छन्, होइन? उनीहरू यस्तो प्रोफेसनमा छन् कि बाई ब्लड उनीहरूबाट मैले सबैलाई कुरा गरिरहेको छैन. जस्तै इक्जाम्पल नै लिनु पर्दाखेरि अलिकति यो माइनिङतिर जसले काम गर्छ त्यहाँको लेबरहरू चाहिँ दे आर नट हम्बल. किनभने बिहानदेखि साँझसम्म एकदमै इरिटेटिङ बाध्यताले काममा उनीहरू लागिरहेको हुन्छन्, होइन? त्यो हम्बलनेस भन्ने कुरा आउँदैन क्या. सो आफू को हो, कोसँग डिल गरिरहेको छ भन्ने कुरा म्याटर गर्छ. जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल सेल्स पर्सन, एउटा कुनै बिजनेस पर्सन, दे रियली निड टु बी हम्बल बिकज दे हेभ टु सेल देयर प्रडक्ट, होइन? सो कस्टमरलाई तपाईँ हम्बल भएर कुरा गर्नु हुँदैन भने तपाईँको प्रडक्ट बिग्दैन. सिम्पल इज द्याट, होइन? सो कोसँग डिल गरिरहेको छौँ, कहाँ डिल गरिरहेको छौँ, इन्भाइरोमेन्ट के छ भन्ने कुराहरू म्याटर गर्छ. अनि कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ एउटा बिङ अ भनौँ न, बिङ अ म्यानेजर, बिङ अ बस, बिङ एन एन्टरप्रेनर, एभ्री टाइम हम्बलनेस, स्टाफलाई हम्बलनेस भएर कुरा गर्दा पनि फेरि कुनै बेला चाहिँ त्यो सिचुएसनल नहुन सक्छ कि. यु हेभ टु बी स्ट्रिक्ट वेन यु निड टु बी स्ट्रिक्ट. सो डिफ्रेन्ट कुराले म्याटर गर्छ यो कुरा. त्यही नै हो. आई थिङ्क डिड यु गेट माई पोइन्ट, दिपक?
Nischal.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Shailesh, for sharing your insights with us, and I got my answers.
Nia got disconnected. I think there's a power cut at her area. I think I'll continue. So audience, it's your turn. The floor is yours because we're having circle conversation. Our speakers have answered the questions I've asked them, and it's your turn to like come on the floor and unmute yourself or drop in chat box about any question you want to talk about, or it should not just be question. It can be your opinion about some certain things. Let me begin with a question. Okay, the question will go for the audience. Failure is a better teacher than success, it is often said. So what has your past failures and rejection taught you? We would love to get responses from the audience. If anyone would like to volunteer, they can unmute themselves and talk. Or maybe I can call someone random, but it would be really great if you'd volunteer yourself and want to talk to us. If anyone. Yeah, Neha Saru is raising her hand. Please unmute her.
So, hello, Nidhi. Can I ask a question to panelist? I have a question for them. So,
yeah, of course you can.
So, first of all, good afternoon, Vinay sir and Shailesh sir and the whole team of NxtGen. So, my question for both of you actually is that being humble is not good for competitive world, as I see. I mean, for me. So, I would like to ask opinions of both of you in that, like, being humble is good or not for the competitive world, right? And second is that in both of your life, what defines of being humble? because you have been so much of experienced in your own field. So I really wanted to know, like, in your own life, personal or professional life, that what defines of being humble to both of you.
Okay. Neha, right?
Neha, yeah.
Okay, shall I go first?
हजुर सर हुन्छ.
त्यही मैले अघि पनि भनेको थिएँ, इट्स pretty hard to be humble, especially when you lives in a society that always encourage you towards the competition and individuality. So गाह्रो छ humble हुन, sometimes एकदमै गाह्रो छ होइन. तर फेरि त्यही हो, अब डेफिनेसन कै कुरा गर्दाखेरि त अब आई थिङ्क अहिले फेरि डेफिनेसनको कुरा म दोहोऱ्याइ चाहिँ राख्दिनँ होइन. तर त्यही हो कि अब भनौँ न, इट क्यान डेभलप यु फुल्ली. हम्बलनेसले चाहिँ तपाईँलाई एकदमै पुरा बनाउँछ होइन. अनि एउटा रिलेसनसिपलाई चाहिँ कसरी धनी बनाउने, कसरी बलियो बनाउने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हम्बलनेसले ड्राइभ गर्छ डेफिनेटली. तर त्यस्तो गाह्रो पनि छ जस्तो लाग्दैन हम्बल हुन, किनभने हामीले जहिले पनि, मैले अघि पनि भनेको थिएँ, सक्सेस र हम्बलनेस भनेको इन्भर्सली प्रोपोर्सनेट हुन्छ समटाइम्स. सो मान्छे कुनै पोजिसनमा पुग्छ, कुनै कुनै एउटा अचिभमेन्ट गेन गर्छ भने ऊ ग्रेजुअली भनौँ न दुःख गरेर नै आएको हुन्छ होइन. एउटा लाइक भर्याङ चढाए सिडी चढाए जस्तै त हो होइन. एउटा मैले हाइरार्की, एउटा कुनै अफिसमा हाइरार्कीकै कुरा गर्नु पर्दाखेरि कोही मान्छे एज अ इन्टर्न काम गर्ला, त्यसपछि असिस्टेन्ट लेभलमा काम गर्ला, अफिसर होला, म्यानेजर होला, सिइओ होला, एन्टरप्रेनर होला. सो तपाईँ एउटा स्थान ग्रहण गरिसकेपछि, एउटा अचिभमेन्ट अचिभ गरिसकेपछि हम्बलनेस फेरि रिटेन गर्न चाहिँ कसरी सजिलो हुन्छ भने डेफिनेटली पुरानो कुरा चाहिँ सम्झिनु चाहिँ पर्छ है. पुरानो कुरा सम्झिनु पर्छ र जहिले पनि हरेक कुरा गर्दा, हरेक कन्भर्सेसन गर्दा चाहिँ म चाहिँ कस्तो गर्छु भने, म जो व्यक्तिसँग कुरा गरिरहेको हुन्छु, मलाई चाहिँ म त्यो स्थानमा रहेर पनि म सोध्छु क्या जहिले पनि होइन. सो म कोसँग बोल्दैछु, म कोसँग डिल गर्दैछु, जहिले पनि म उसलाई चाहिँ उसको खुट्टामा टेकेर हेर्छु. सो त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति हम्बलनेस ल्याउन सजिलो पनि हुँदो रहेछ है. त्यही कुरा हो. ओभर टु यु विनय सर.
Thank you, Salishi. I think this is a very interesting question in itself, because like lot of the industries, lot of the professional life, so to say, nowadays is very, very fiercely competitive. That is what the market says, and to a degree, it's very, very true. But let's try to think of who we are as a person first. If you want to identify yourself as a humble person, so if you were to pick three, let's say, qualities about you, and three core qualities that defines you as a person, and if you place humble as one of the three most important qualities for you, then I think humble becomes one of the most important personality trait for you. It defines who you are as a person. So maybe it is important for you to get involved in an industry where it's not only about competition, it's more about contributing to the community, or to the customers. You can choose your career where it's not only about competition, where it's more about collaboration as well. There are a lot of industries nowadays where people love to collaborate. For an artist to be one of the best artists in the world, he or she does not need to compete in art. If the people who appreciate the art, the number of people who appreciate the art increases, he or she becomes a very successful artist, right? So it's not absolutely necessary to compete with other artists. You just need to express the most beautiful form of your art. So if your personality requires you to be humble, then I think you would need to choose your career according to your personality. Place yourself where you are aptly fit. If you're already in an industry where competition is a mandate, where you need to be ruthless, where you need to, be critical, you need to be arrogant at times, then humbleness becomes one of the important quality, but it is not the dominant quality that you need to possess. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's not an absolute must if in your career other aspects, other qualities are more dominantly needed. So no one, I don't think the 19 or 20 people discussing here today, or even thousands of people, millions of people, whoever they are, no people can say this is the perfect way of living life. I don't think anyone has that sutra. So for
Right.
you, whatever is needed, if humbleness, being humble becomes one of the dominant qualities, place it in. If not, then I think that's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Take it as
Thank
it
you so
comes.
much. Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I think I got like new kind of thing in me, and I'm sure I will be improving on it. And thank you so much, both of you.
Samriddhi Timalsina is raising her hand.
There is a question. So, sir, like we talked about being humble, and this session we talk about these things. होइन तर practically हेर्ने हो भन्दा एउटा if I'm having a conversation with my friend or with some of my friends, एउटा contradictory point आयो भने र त्यो point continue हुँदै गयो भने यस्तो पोइन्टमा पुगिन्छ जहाँ इगो किक्स इन होइन अनि त्यो पोइन्टमा पुगेपछि देयर कम्स एउटा इन्स्ट्यान्ट रेज भन्ने कुरा आउँछ होइन जसले चाहिँ हम्बललाई लाइक बाई बाई गरिदिन्छ कि अब त्यो हाउ टु ओभरकम द्याट इन्स्ट्यान्ट रेज अब द्याट इन्स्ट्यान्ट रेज इज नट गुड नि त बट त्यो पछि रिग्रेट हुन्छ द्याट वाज नट गुड भन्ने कुरा तर एट द्याट टाइम त्यो इन्स्ट्यान्टमा चाहिँ हाउ टु ओभरकम द्याट भन्ने चाहिँ क्यान यु प्लिज सेयर गिभ मी सम सजेसन्स
Okay, मैले I'm a big हुन्छ नि admirer of सद्गुरु होइन अनि सद्गुरुले भनेको एउटा स्टेटमेन्ट ठ्याक्कै यहाँ सेट गर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो रिसाउनु पर्ने बेलामा शान्त हुने होइन अरूलाई अरूसित क्रोधित हुनुपर्ने बेलामा मुसुक्क हाँस्ने यस्तै क्वालिटी भएर चाहिँ बुद्ध बुद्ध भएको हो र राम राम भएको हो भनेर भन्छ क्या सो दिज आर गड्स होइन वी आर ह्युमन बिङ्स फर्स्ट लेट्स एक्सेप्ट कि रिस हामीलाई नि उठ्छ अर्को व्यक्तिलाई नि उठ्छ हामीलाई पनि हुन्छ नि कुनै कुरा चित्त बुझ्दैन कहिलेकाहीँ डिस्कसनमा पर्दाखेरि कहिलेकाहीँ हाम्रो पनि इगो किकिङ गर्छ कहिलेकाहीँ हामीलाई पनि कुनै कुरा चित्त नबुझेपछि फ्याट के बोलिन्छ दिस इज वाट मेक्स अस ह्युमन बिङ्स है इज इट अ गुड थिङ हुन्छ नि यो यस्तो इन्टेन्स कन्भर्सेसनको बेलामा रिस उठेको बेलामा मुसुक हाँसेर द्याट्स अ भेरी नाइस स्टेटमेन्ट भनेर त्यसरी मुसुक हाँसेर त्यसरी निस्किन सकिन्छ होला त अभियसली सकिन्छ होला तर त्यसको लागि चाहिँ केही यात्रा त्यो आई थिङ्क यसको लागि चाहिँ त्यो स्पिरिचुअलिटीको यात्रा अलिक बढी गरेर होइन त्यो आफूलाई इमोसनल ब्यालेन्स गरेर त्यो चिजमा चाहिँ बढी नै हामी इन्भल्भ हुनुपर्छ होला तर म चाहिँ अगेन हुन्छ नि आई बिलिभ कि हुन्छ नि हाम्रो इन्टेन्ट चाहिँ लङ्गर टर्ममै कसैलाई हार्म गर्ने हो भने चाहिँ द्याट्स एब्सोल्युटली रङ तर सर्ट टर्ममा कुनै अनइन्टेन्सनल्ली हिट अफ द मोमेन्टमा केही कुरा हुन्छ भने वी सुड नट टेक इट हुन्छ नि टु हार्ड क्या अनि अर्को एउटा पार्ट चाहिँ एउटा बच्चा हुन्छ नि हुर्किरहेको बच्चा टडलर भनौँ न अझ सानो बच्चालाई त केही थाहा हुँदैन टडलर 5-6 इयर्सको एज पछिको टडलरलाई चाहिँ उसलाई कुनै पनि आफ्नो इमोसन्सहरू चेकमा राख्नै आउँदैन क्या रिस उठे बेलामा के फोडिदिन्छ रोगको बेलामा टोले थर्किने गरी रोइदिन्छ होइन कुनै पनि इमोसन्स चेकमै हुँदैन तर इफ यु नोटिस योरसेल्फ ड्युरिङ यो टिनेज एज नि रिस उठाए बेलामा एउटा कन्ट्रोल एउटा पोइन्टमा गएर कन्ट्रोल हुन्छ क्या एउटा पोइन्टमा गएर रुने रोकिन्छ क्या अनि नाउ यो 20sमा पुग्दाखेरि अझै बढी कन्ट्रोल आयो होला नि त्यसमा होइन रिसमा अझै कन्ट्रोल आयो होला रुनीमा अझै कन्ट्रोल आयो होला कोही केटासित झगडा पऱ्यो भने पनि ब्रेकअप भयो भने पनि अब त्यसलाई आफूलाई सान्त्वना दिन सकिने स्टेजमा पुग्यो होला भने जस्तै यो पनि बिस्तारै एज वी हुन्छ नि मच्योर त्यो फाइन वाइन जसरी बिस्तारै हाम्रो इमोसनल पनि त्यो फाइन वाइन जसरी एज अनुसार चाहिँ मोर मच्योर हुँदै जान्छ अनि यो आर्गुमेन्टहरूलाई हामीले एक्सेप्ट गर्ने हाम्रो अबिलिटी केपेबिलिटी वाट एभर यु कल इट होइन त्यो पनि अझै बढ्दै जान्छ सो आई थिङ्क द्याट्स भेरी भेरी नेचुरल समृद्धिजी होइन Just like saying, give yourself time, it will happen naturally. You already have such a good intent, you're naturally नै हुन्छ क्या.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
यो इगोकै कुरा आयो होइन. इगोको कुरा धेरै पनि आइरहेछ. आई गेस टपिक नै त्यस्तै छ होइन. इगो एकछिन भयो भने इफ यु वाट आई थिङ्क इज लाइक इफ यु आर राइट यु अलवेज डोन्ट निड टु बी हम्बल के होइन. हम्बल इज वान अफ द गुड क्वालिटी, वान अफ द गुड क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स द्याट यु सुड पजेस. तर हम्बल भनेको चाहिँ आफ्टर अल दिस डिस्कसन वाट आई फिल इज लाइक इट्स एन आर्ट होइन. हम्बल भनेको चाहिँ हम्बलनेस भनेको चाहिँ एउटा कला आर्ट नै हो. कुन बेला ल्याउने कहाँ ल्याउने भनेर चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुनु पर्यो कि. हम्बलनेस भनेपछि जहिले पनि हामी हम्बलै हुनुपर्छ, हरेक कुरामा हम्बल हुनुपर्छ भन्ने पनि होइन नि त. अब कसैले काम बिगार्यो भने त्यहाँ हम्बलनेस भएर कुरा गर्न जरुरी छैन. लास्टमा तपाईँको एउटा टिका टिप्पणी त हुन्छ नि त होइन. केही कुरा गर्यो, केही कुरामा क्लास भयो भने पछि तैँले मलाई यस्तो गरे होइन, तैँले मलाई यस्तो गरे, किन गरे, के गरे भन्ने टिका टिप्पणी हुन्छ नि त. त्यहाँ त वेन यु आर राइट, सो त्यहाँ एउटा जजमेन्ट त हुन्छ नि त. सो त्यही नै हो. इट्स नट द क्वालिटी यु अलवेज निड टु पजेस. कहाँ ल्याउने, कुन बेला ल्याउने भन्ने चाहिँ थाहा हुनु पर्यो होइन. त्यही नै हो.
Thank you.
Sir.
अब चाहिँ I'd like to introduce apology and forgiveness. Apology and forgiveness चाहिँ I have felt lately is very, very important in our relationships, be it personal or in our workplace, because we're inevitably going to commit mistakes that are inevitable. We're definitely going to do something wrong, even if our intentions are not wrong, even if we don't intend to hurt people, but we're definitely going to be wrong at various points of time. And how important is to apologize, or at the first place to accept that we're wrong, and then put aside this ego thing, and then go forward and apologize that okay, I did this, I didn't mean to I didn't mean this or anything, I apologize from my side. And how important is it when someone comes to us with a genuine apology, that we be able, or we make ourselves able to forgive them. I'd like to know responses from the audience about what you think about it, like your take on apology and forgiveness. I think that's also a very important part about humility and humbleness, about like accepting your mistakes, accepting where you're wrong and apologizing for it, and like forgiveness and things. I would really like to know what our audience thinks of it. If anyone would like to give their insights or their opinion on this, you're welcome. You can raise your hand. We'll unmute you. If not, I am going to pick a random person because I'm really keen to know about like opinions from people. Okay, I'd like to ask Miss Rosie Gupta to kindly unmute herself and talk us about this thing.
Hello, Nidhi.
Hi,
Hello,
Rosie.
Soile sir. Hello, Binay sir. It was really nice listening to you guys. I was just here listening, and so the very first thing why I'm here is that I'm a kind of person who needs people to talk about these basic things like being humble, as Nidhi said, about forgiveness and apologize, sorry, forgiveness and forgiving others. So what I believe is that if I have made a mistake and then I'm really guilty of it, then it's my instinct. Like I had to ask for the apology, and I just try to make that person understand, and I just need that person to understand that I'm really guilty about that. I shouldn't have done that, and I just try my best to make sure that that person doesn't now, like, when I made a mistake, obviously it affects some person if it's to a person wise, right? So obviously I made a mistake, I hurt that person knowingly or unknowingly. But then of course afterwards, when I feel guilty, when I understand that it wasn't so necessary to do that, I just ask for the apology. And I think it's simple as that. If you make a mistake, you feel guilty about it, you should have that courage. You should be brave enough to ask for the apology because it was your mistake, right? And similarly, when it comes for forgiveness, I had a very strange situation. Not strange, but it was very saddening for me. It was during my +2 days, and I was in class 12. We had this sports day competition, and we had this tug of war competition between classes. And from my class, like, at first I was very much excited for that competition because I wasn't participating in other sports. It was only the tug of war for me. And then on the day of the competition, I realized that some classmates, some team members, they just excluded my name, and then they placed some other people's name. So which was very saddening. I was so hurt, so broken. I literally didn't felt good, and I was just crying. And I even like, there was a teacher, I was very close to him, I told him what I felt, and he was like, if you don't feel good, then we can just cancel the competition, because but then I didn't want it that I didn't want it that to happen. And afterwards, when they realized that I was very much disturbed by that incident, um, they they apologized, and I was also like, okay, it's fine, sometimes it's happened. But to be honest, I literally didn't forgive them because I knew how it felt. I cried the whole day. I was such a crybaby, my eyes were all swollen up. But when I think of that situation, I feel really stupid. Like, it wasn't a big deal for me to forgive them, right? But still, I didn't forgive because the whole experience of mine regarding that situation was still fresh. It was still green. Now that is kind of like, it has faded away. Like, I hardly think about that situation. So if you ask me if I had forgiven those people, of course I had. Not only me, but like, as time passes and your experience regarding such incident, it just slowly fades away, you'll eventually forgive. So even if you can't forgive certain people at that particular instant, because your emotions, your experiences is still fresh, it's okay. I know that as time passes, you'll be able to forgive those people. So yeah, that is my say towards forgiveness and apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. That was great knowing about what you feel about forgiveness and apology. If someone has similar thoughts or even contradictory thoughts with that, I mean, if anything, you guys can just raise your hand or unmute yourself, or even if Binesh or Silas sir, you want to say something contradictory to it or so in support with it, anything, if the floor is all yours, all of the audience, all the speakers, anyone can raise their hand and just talk about this. Also, Nia is here, so she'll be taking on. I'm leaving. Thank you.
Hello everyone, once again. I had a problem with my Wi-Fi, so I'm joining with hotspot. So I like to ask question. I ask my question to the audience. My question is, okay, it is said that failure is a better teacher than success. What do you think? Anyone? If you have to say something, you can unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand and someone will unmute you. Okay, so let me pick someone from the audience. Okay, Dharati. Dharati, are you there? Dharati? I don't think she's there. What about Samriti? Samriti Timasina?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. So I think that statement is true because when we fail, we try once again. That means we give our efforts, we give our more effort to something that we failed once. सक्सेस चाहिँ के हो भन्दा सक्सेसले हामीलाई एउटा आफ्नो गोलमा पुर्याउँछ होइन, तर फेलरले नपुर्याउने भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन मेरो ओपिनियनमा चाहिँ। किन भन्दा फेलरले सक्सेसले त्यो गोलमा पुर्याउँछ भने फेलरले त्यो गोलमा हामीलाई कसरी पुग्ने र अब चाहिँ के गरेर तिमी पुग्छौ भनेर सिकाउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ। त्यसकारण या आई थिङ्क failure is one of the thing that leads to success, so it is a good teacher than success.
Yes, अरू कसैलाई आफ्नो एक्सपिरियन्स जसबाट चाहिँ फेलियर्स र रिजेक्सनबाट चाहिँ तपाईँहरूले के सिक्नु भएको छ भनेर कुनै पनि एक्सपिरियन्स सेयर गर्न मन लाग्छ भने आफ्नो ह्यान्ड रेज गर्नु होला अथवा आफूलाई अनम्युट गर्नु होला।
Can I please say?
Yes, sure.
So what I personally feel is failure is definitely better than like failure can teach you better lessons than success ever will, because failure makes us think differently, and we always try to avoid failures. We always try to avoid making mistakes, and that is what I feel is so wrong. The problem with our lack of ability to handle failure in life is that it will make success that much harder to achieve. So when you uncover all the layers of embarrassment, ruin, and depression, failure is actually a pretty magical thing. That is what I feel. And failure teaches us in a way success never can. And it shapes us as a person, and it makes us resilient. And at the same time, if we can like cultivate a stronger relationship with failure, we can make success that much closer. And yeah, that is what I feel. Thank you for letting me share my opinions.
Thank you for your insights, Nishchalji. Binay sir, what do you think?
Well, I think failure is a great teacher. I don't know if it is a better teacher or not, but I think it is a great teacher, of course. Only if, let me add something to it, only if you're willing to reflect, if you are willing to accept the mistakes, realize the mistakes that you did, accept the mistakes that you made, and are willing to change your approach. And even sometimes it is so difficult to change the way you do things because you are so rigid in yourself that you believe you are a very good doer. You know everything. So I think that people have this false sense of celebrating everything that they do and never realizing their weaknesses and never understanding their mistakes. So I think failure definitely is a great teacher only if you are willing to learn from it, if you are reflecting on it, and if you are accepting the changes that needs to be done. Yes.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I think Irada Rokaya wants to say something. Please go ahead.
Yes, म चाहिँ के भन्न चाहन्छु लाइक फेलियर इज बेटर देन सक्सेस किन भन्दाखेरि मैले चाहिँ लाइक त्यो फेलियर एक्सपिरियन्स गरेको छु क्या रिसेन्टली होइन अनि त्यो फेलियरमा चाहिँ हामी एक्सपिरियन्स गर्छौँ त्यो फेलियरमा हामी के अरे जिउन सिक्छौँ क्या अब जिउन थाल्छौँ क्या किनकि सक्सेस हामीले त्यो पोइन्टमा पाउनुपर्छ भनेर जसरी रिजेक्सन हुन्छ हरेक कुराको अनि फेलियर हुँदै हुँदै जाँदा लाइक त्यो डिप्रेसन एन्जाइटी सबै थोकले हामीलाई हानेर हुन्छ नि त लाइक अब आफूलाई पनि सम्हाल्नु पर्यो आफू सक्सेसको पोइन्टमा पनि जानु पर्यो नि त अनि इट्स लाइक एक्सपिरियन्स होइन हामी त्यो फेलियरको एउटा छुट्टै जर्नी हुन्छ क्या हाम्रो लाइफमा रादर देन सक्सेसको सक्सेस भन्दा इजिली पायो भने ओके आइएम गेटिङ भनेर सेटिस्फ्याक्सन हुन्छ होइन तर त्यो सेटिस्फ्याक्सनमा त्यो मजा हुँदैन जति फेलियरबाट पाएर हामीले सक्सेसमा पाउँछौँ भनेर अनि यस एकर्डिङ टु माई एक्सपिरियन्स होइन फेलियर इज ग्रेट अब फेलियर इज डजन्ट मिन के अरे हामी डिप्रेसनमा गएर त्यो केही गर्न नसक्ने भने त्यो सोच्नु चाहिँ अब गलत हुन्छ होइन तर फेलियरलाई नै जिउन थाल्यो भने चाहिँ यस फेलियर इज अल्सो आवर पार्ट अफ लाइफ होइन एन्ड इट्स ब्युटिफुल भन्न चाहन्छु थ्याङ्क यू
Okay, Radha. Soilis, sir, what are your opinions?
Okay, Nia. Yes, I've certainly found that the hardest and most important lesson have always come from our failure. It's what ultimately help you become successful. Actually, failure definitely key to success हो. फेलियरले इफोर्ट थाहा हुन्छ होइन यसले चाहिँ एउटा अप्रिसिएसन र बााउन्स ब्याक गर्नको लागि चाहिँ फेलियर भनेको चाहिँ एउटा एकदमै गोल्डन अपर्च्युनिटी हो र फेलियरले अलवेज इट ट्राइज न्यू इनिसिएटिभ्स फेलियरले डेफिनेटली रिस्क लिन पनि सिकाउँछ होइन हामीले जहिले पनि पढ्छौँ नि जहाँ रिस्क हुन्छ त्यहाँ चाहिँ प्रफिट हुन्छ अथवा त्यहाँ गेन हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा सो जब जब मान्छे फेलियर हुन्छ त्यही फेलियर मान्छे नै हो अलिकति रिस्क लिन खोज्छ र फेलियरले रिस्क लिन सिकाउँछ जब हामी रिस्क लिन्छौँ तब बल्ल हामीले लाइफको अथवा हामीले जे गर्दैछौँ त्यसको भ्याल्यु पनि थाहा हुन्छ होइन फेलियरको पर्सनली मलाई पनि यता एडुकेसनल फेलियरको मलाई पनि एकदमै राम्रो स्वाद चाहेको छु मैले म लाइफमा भनौँ न कहिले पनि तपाईँको थर्ड फोर्थ भन्दा तल नआउने मान्छे आफ्टर +2 आई चुज चार्टर्ड अकाउन्टेन्सी एज माई करियर र म चार्टर्ड अकाउन्टेन्सीमा तपाईँहरूले पनि सुन्नु भएको छ होला नपढे पनि अलिकति गाह्रो छ सिए गाह्रो छ भन्ने चाहिँ सुनिरहेकै हुनुहुन्छ होला होइन त्यही गाह्रो छमा चाहिँ म पनि पर्सनली फसेको छु आई ट्राइड बट आई डिन्ट सक्सिडेड म 2-3 पटकसम्म फेल भएँ बट रिजल्ट चाहिँ कहाँ छ भने अहिले आई पोजेज 3 डिग्रिज पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट डिग्री मसँग अहिले 3टा छ सायद त्यही फेलियरले गर्दा नै होला होइन सो डेफिनेटली फेल हुनु पर्छ त म भन्दिनँ डेफिनेटली फेल हुनु पर्दैन तर जब हामी फेल हुन्छौँ तब नै वास्तविकता पनि थाहा हुन्छ र मैले अघि भने जस्तो हामीलाई रिस्क लिनको लागि चाहिँ हामी अगाडि बढ्छौँ सो जब मान्छेले जेमा पनि रिस्क लिन्छ नि तब चाहिँ मान्छेले भ्याल्यु बुझ्छ क्या हरेक कुराको भ्याल्यु बुझ्छ है त्यही नै हो थ्याङ्क यू
Thank you, Soilis, sir.
Niyaji, can I add a small statement यसमा हाम्रो जुन चाहिँ एजुकेसन सिस्टम र हाम्रो सोसाइटीको फ्याब्रिक छ नि त्यसले चाहिँ हामीलाई फेलियर भनेको चाहिँ यु आर विक अनि त्यसपछि यु आर इन्केपेबल भनेर चाहिँ टर्म गर्छ फेलियरलाई होइन अनि मोस्ट अफ द पिपल even me myself, like we fail and we fear to fail, okay? Right? When we fail, we fear to fail again, you know. Ani, unlike this, Western economies, most of the failures are celebrated, okay? अनि that is a very good spirit मैले चाहिँ सिकेको अहिले करेन्टली खास गरी स्टार्टअप जुन सेगमेन्टमा काम गर्छु त्यो पार्टमा चाहिँ फेल फास्ट फेल चिप भन्ने चलन छ क्या अनि आई थिङ्क इट्स अ भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट थिङ टु से बिकज हाम्रो एटिट्युड टुवर्ड्स फेलियर डिफाइन्स द लर्निङ क्या नट ओन्ली फेलियर फेल गरेर मात्रै नसिक्ने कति 100चोटिसम्म पनि सेम काम गरेर डुबेहरू पनि देखेको छु क्या मैले so हाम्रो attitude towards the failure होइन त्यो चाहिँ I think that is very very important है and like Shailesh also mentioned त्यो attitude positive attitude राख्यो नि risk taking चाहिँ एकदमै increase भएर जान्छ and it rewards big time.
एक्ज्याक्टली फेलियरबाट सिक्न सक्यो भने चाहिँ हामीले सक्सेस पाउन सक्छौँ सो मुभिङ अन टु द नेक्स्ट क्वेसन do you think having colleagues and friends who are more successful than you plays a role in self-growth and development? How? This question is for the audience, so anyone can voluntarily answer the question.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Do you think having colleagues and friends who are more successful than you plays a role in self-growth and development? How?
Like according to my understanding, it is very important to have a good network because network is what I believe is net worth. If you have a very good friend circle, you have a very like good mentors and who can like help you, guide you through your difficult times or like whenever you feel like I'm lost. That is very important. So what I personally feel is having friends who are successful or who have achieved something according to like career wise, personal development wise, that they can definitely help you. And yeah, that is true. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Z. Anyone else would like to add?
Yes, मेरो sound आइरहेछ ओके सो यसमा म थोरै केही कुरा एड गर्न चाहन्छु भनिन्छ नि यु आर द एभरेज अफ द 5 पिपल यु स्पेन्ड मोस्ट अफ द टाइम भनिन्छ नि एज त्यही कुरा चाहिँ जोड्न चाहन्छु जुन फ्रेन्ड सर्कलमा हामी के कस्तो साथीहरूसँग टाइमहरू स्पेन्ड गरिरहेछौँ के कस्तो सर्कलहरू छ त्यसबाट हाम्रो थट्स बिहेभियर्सहरू डिसाइड हुन्छ र त्यसबाट एक्सनमा हामी एक्सनमा त्यही अनुसार जान्छौँ सो इट इज भेरी भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट भन्न चाहन्छु
थ्याङ्क यू दीपकजी अरू कसैलाई आफ्नो ओपिनियन्स राख्न मन छ भने प्लिज अनम्युट गर्नु होला एनीवन Okay, so I'd like to randomly choose from the audience. Neha Saruji.
Thank you so much, Nia Dizu. So what I think about this topic is that I do not know about exactly the colleagues or not, but what I have thought is, it has been with my circle of people who I surround with or whom I interact with on a daily basis. And I mean, having people who are 10 times more and far away than you will definitely help you to grow personally and in your future plan as well. So yes, I also agree with your question that having people who are more successful than you, successful are very much, successful in the sense that they're successful in their career wise and they're very good internally as well. So I think it definitely affects you as a person. So yeah.
I think Neha ji has been disconnected. So if anyone else would like to share their opinions. Rosie Gupta ji. Rosie Gupta ji.
Hello, Nia. I hope
Hello.
you're having a good day.
Yes, I'm having a good day. What about you?
Yeah, I'm having a good and cozy day as well. So, what I believe is that I don't know, like, I have seen people, okay, like we are like in my own friend circle, we are like group of 5 to 6 girls, and out of 6 girls, two of us are pursuing a totally different career, and 4 of them are like pursuing a similar career, and they are like on the same batch but different colleges, of course. And what I feel is that there is a kind of a sense of jealousy and a sense of competition between them, especially when all of your friends are on the same plane, and even at the same plane, everybody is doing at different levels of, be it the education, academics, other curriculums. So I don't know, like it might be also because of the past experiences, because in school there isn't much competition. You just study, score well, and then when you go out of your school, out after your +2, like life hits different to different people. So it might be a reason, but if you are very like true to yourself, and if you want your people to grow and rise along with you, then it is obviously, the statement is correct. But if you are feeling like um, you are having you want people to support you, but then the people who you have, they have a kind of competitive or jealous kind of nature, then it's a little bit difficult to um, collaborate and cooperate such people. So it might not be 100% true, but like, yeah, 90% it is, of course, true. So that's my say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. I guess Nia is again lost somewhere because there's a power cut, I guess. I'm audible, right? Right.
Yes, Nidhi, yes.
Thank you, Silas sir. Okay, we've come to the end of this session of this today's TED Circle conversation session. We've come to the end. It's already 4, and it's time I take takeaways from the speakers of the session. Silas sir, तपाईँले कस्तो लाग्यो आजको प्रोग्राम? What is your takeaway from today's TED Circle?
थ्याङ्क यू निधि। त्यही यो क्वेसनमा जानुभन्दा अगाडि म एकदमै समरीमा यो न्युटनको क्वेसन मलाई एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लाग्यो। म सायद मलाई पनि यो क्वेसन सोधिन्छ होला जस्तो लागेको थियो, तर स्किप भयो। ठिकै छ, म आइहालेँ है, नट अ प्रब्लम। यो क्वेसन तपाईँहरू सबैको लागि एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ होइन। पर्सनली आइ एम रियली थ्याङ्कफुल यो क्वेसन आयो। कस्तो हुन्छ नि, हामीले जे गर्छौँ त्यही सिक्ने हो नि त। सो ठुलो मान्छेसँग सङ्गत गर्दा कुरा पनि ठुलै हुन्छ क्या, अनि ठुलै कुरा सिकिन्छ होइन। कुरा पनि त्यही लेभलको हुन्छ नि त। अनि कस्तो हुन्छ भने हामी कुरा बुझ्दैनौँ डेफिनेटली है। हाम्रो भन्दा सिनियर कलिगहरूसँग कुरा गर्दा केही कुरा आउँछौँ अनि हाम्रो बुझ्दैनौँ नि त। सो नबुझेपछि कस्तो हुन्छ भने त्यहाँ हाम्रो रिसर्च हुन्छ, रिसर्च गर्न थाल्छौँ क्या हामी। अनि वेन वी डु रिसर्च, डेफिनेटली देयर इज अ ग्रेट लर्निङ है, त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ लर्निङ हुन्छ। सो त्यही हो, के अरे यो सङ्गत अनुसारको फल भन्ने एउटा उखानै पनि छ जस्तो लाग्छ होइन। सो डेफिनेटली सङ्गत गर्नु, ठुलै मान्छेको गर्नु, अहिलेदेखि नै ठुलो मान्छेको गर्नु एकदमै हेल्पफुल हुन्छ तपाईँहरूलाई है। ओके, एन्ड टकिङ अबाउट आजको लर्निङ, यस, आज डेफिनेटली सोचेको भन्दा एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ भयो। पहिला सुरुमा चाहिँ पार्टिसिपेन्ट्सहरू अलिकति धेरै नै हम्बल भएको, लाज मानिरहेको हो कि जस्तो लागिरहेको थियो है। अनि लेटर अन एभ्रिबडी केम विथ द ब्याङ्क। सो मेरो चाहिँ आफ्टर अल हम्बलनेसमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि जे जति डेफिनेसन भयो सबैको आफ्नो पर्सेप्सन हुन्छ होइन। यो एउटा इट्स अ वर्ड हम्बल बट डेफिनेसन भनेको एकदमै ठुलो छ यसको है। सो मेरो लागि चाहिँ मैले कन्क्लुड गर्नु पर्दा चाहिँ इट इज एन आर्ट होइन, अघि भने जस्तो हम्बलनेस भनेको चाहिँ एउटा आर्ट हो। त्यो कुरा चाहिँ कहाँ ल्याउने, कुन बेला ल्याउने भनेर चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुनु पर्यो। एभ्री टाइम हम्बलनेस इज नट गुड, एभ्री टाइम इज हम्बलनेस इज नट ब्याड। तर त्यही हो, त्यो कुरालाई चाहिँ कहाँ ल्याउने, कुन बेला ल्याउने, कसरी ल्याउने भन्ने कुरा थाहा भएर हामीले हम्बलनेसलाई भनौँ न त्यही अनुसार सँगै लग्यौँ भने चाहिँ डेफिनेटली इट हेल्प्स आउट अ लट। Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Sailesh sir. To present the token of love to Sailesh sir, I'd like to request the tech team. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your time. That was very, very nice talking to you. Also, Binay sir, I'd like to request you to share your takeaways from the session.
Okay, first and foremost, thank you very much, Nidhi, Niazi, Jay Kishanji, and the entire team. It was a wonderful experience. एउटा डिस्क्लेमर राखिहालौँ, मैले यत्रो कुरा बोलेँ होइन, बिङ हम्बलको बारेमा अनि अरू क्वेसन्स जुन हजुरहरूले सोचेको थियो। आई एम नट एन एक्सपर्ट बाई एनी मिन्स, आई एम लर्निङ जस्ट एज यु आर। म पनि यो अनि शैलेशजीले आर्ट भनौँ, म पनि यो आर्ट सिक्दैछु। सायद मर्नु जेलसम्ममा केही डिग्रीमा अझै बढी सिकेर चाहिँ सिकिदिन्छु होला होइन। तर मलाई चाहिँ पर्सनली तपाईँहरूले यो क्वेसन सोधिदिँदाखेरि चाहिँ it gave me time to think about myself, think about the things that I've been doing to other people, and it gave me a good opportunity to understand myself better. So that was very helpful. Thank you very much. Besides that, my express opinion is solely mine. If you disagree with it, that's absolutely fine. As a धेरै opinion हजुरहरूको सुन्न पाइएन, hopefully यस्तै conversations physical events पनि गरेर हामी गफ गर्न सक्यौँ भने अथवा भेटेर पनि गफ गर्न सक्यौँ भने I would love to understand your perspectives and the way you think about these topics and other topics पनि हैन। So त्यो पार्ट भयो। Again, expressing my thank you to all of you हैन। We'll look forward to अरू लर्निङ्सहरू पनि तपाईहरुसित है। Thank you.
Thank you so much, Binay sir. Also, I'd like to request the tech team to present the token of love. This is a small gesture of appreciation and thank you, Binay sir and Sailesh sir. Thank you so much for joining with us. Also, if anyone from the audience would like to share their takeaways, you can drop in the chat box. And thank you everyone for joining with us. NxtGen is offering a public speaking course in coming month in February. So I'd like to request Mr. Akash Saraf from Finance and Corporate to come and tell us more information about the course.
Thank you, Nidhi. Yeah, please.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Nidhi for hosting such a lovely event. And I would also like to thank my friend, CEO of NxtGen, Mr. Jay Kishan Panjiar, for organizing such great events. This is such a wonderful opportunity for people like us who wants to learn from like leaders like Binay sir, Sailesh sir. It was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you guys. And sir, is there any way to connect with Binay Devkada sir and Sailesh sir, the guys on LinkedIn?
Yes, well, LinkedIn, Facebook. I can also type your number पनि type गर्दिनु होला यहाँ हैन, email र number राख्नु होला। Anyway, which way you can connect, I'll be looking forward to it. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Also, there is a feedback form in the chat box. I would like to request all the audience to fill the feedback form about how today's event was to you. Yeah, Akash Saraf, so you can continue.
Thank you, Nidhi. So I was going to tell you about the course we are offering, the public speaking course. Anjali, can you present the slide? Yeah, thank you. So this is the course we are offering. It is a public speaking course, and it will be not going to be like any general course we are having in the online platforms. This will be a one-to-one session of 10 days where we'll be having a wonderful facilitator. He is no other than Mr. Suraj Raj Pandey, and he will be taking us throughout the session. And the major takeaways from this session will be the one-to-one attention, daily drills of public speaking, and feedback sessions from the mentor and from the peers. And we'll be providing you different certifications of the course, and also we'll be offering you a session in our Instagram live. So thank you. If you want to join this session, please follow this link I'll be providing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akasai. That was a lovely, lovely session. Thank you, everyone, each of the audience, and of course, our respected speakers we had today. Thank you so much. This would never have been possible if you guys were not this warm and welcoming. Thank you. I hope, Binay sir, you recover really well, really soon. And thank you so much, everyone. We're very thankful. Stay warm, stay safe, stay humble. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.